My worst fear came true. Dana White, yet again, fumbles another card that was supposed to be incredibly stacked. I don't know what happened to the sport that I love, man. I honestly don't know what happened to it. Honestly, I think Lucas Tracy retired at the right time because these cards are absolutely trash. And this is not like the NFL. This is not like the NBA. This is not like soccer where, teams play every single fucking week, multiple times a month. Fighters fight maybe once or twice a month, especially at a high level. So it is very important for the UFC to make the right fights, because if they don't make the right fights, the fights that we want to see, we never see them, or we see them a year and a half later. That is why I am so critical of UFC matchmaking, because we only get these fighters once in a while, maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times a year if we're lucky. And when it's time to deliver, when it's time to make the right fights, the fights that we want to see, the champion versus the next best guy, we don't fucking get them. We don't get them. They're fumbling it. They're fumbling it massively. Gaethje versus Pimblett for the interim title? Are we fucking serious? Are we fucking serious? Justin Gaethje, who 2 fights ago got knocked out by Max Holloway out cold and before was getting dominated for 5 rounds, is fighting for another fucking title? Got choked out by Charles Oliveira in 1 round, got destroyed by Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Gaethje is fighting for the title again in 2026? You know what? Paddy Pimblett, I get it. He doesn't have the best resume. He's coming off a win over a washed Michael Chandler. Before that, a washed Bobby Green. Before that, a washed Tony Ferguson. I'm not saying that Paddy Pimblett absolutely deserves a title shot, but at least he has a little bit more aura. At least he hasn't lost in the UFC. At least the guy can sell a fight. But Justin Gaethje? Are we serious? When Arman Tsarukyan just had a very dominant performance over Dan Hooker, where he took absolutely no damage? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm seriously gonna have a heart attack. I can't believe what the fuck they're doing. And the problem with this is because the winner of this fight is probably gonna fight Topuria sometime late in 2026, and we're not gonna see the Arman Tsarukyan fight. What the fuck are they doing? What are we doing? The fight to make, if I get it, I understand Topuria's dealing with personal issues. He's going through a divorce. If the guy needs to step away from the game, I completely understand. I'm not going to say that, he needs to fight. I mean, it would have been awesome to see Topuria fight, but if he can't fight, he can't fight. But it's the job of the UFC. It's a job of Dana White and the matchmakers to come up with the best matchups of the best fight, the best. What's the UFC even about anymore? What's the title fights even about anymore? If we're not seeing the best fighters fight the best fighters, what is the point? What is the fucking point? Honestly, what's the point? And like I said, it's not like these fighters fight every single month. If these fighters fought every single month, I'd be like, you know what? I mean, who cares? We could get Gaethje Pimblett, but the next month we'll get Arman Tsarukyan and Pimblett. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be mad about it. I'd be like, okay, I mean, it's whatever. It's not great. But I understand when I see these matches, these fights, that we're not going to see the fights that we want to see for a very fucking long time, a very long time. And that's why it really angers me, because we're not going to get the fights that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gaethje does not deserve a title shot. I'm sorry. He fucking doesn't. I don't know what he has on Dana White, but dude, the guy does not deserve a title shot. Bro is coming off a win over Rafa Fiziev in short notice and couldn't even finish him. What are we doing? What are we doing, UFC? Like, Gaethje versus Pimblett would have been a perfect fight for this year. And then the winner fights for the title. Okay, that is more understandable here. I understand that Arman Tsarukyan before the Dan Hooker fight hadn't fought in over a year. But it's okay, Gaethje Pimblett should have been in the August card. You know what I'm saying? In the Chimaev and Duplessis card. Like, why are we waiting until 2026 for Gaethje Pimblett? Why? Make Pimblett versus Tsarukyan at least. At least that fight's more intriguing. Both of these guys, Arman Tsarukyan looked incredible. Paddy Pimblett, obviously, he looked very dominant against Michael Chandler, and he hasn't lost in the UFC. He hasn't gotten that opportunity. He's a big star. I think the winner of Tsarukyan versus Pimblett can fight Topuria in the summer, and that would still be a very massive fight. But what are we doing with Gaethje in the picture, dude? In 2026, Gaethje's fighting for a title shot, bro. Anything can really happen in your life. Believe, guys, believe. Oh my goodness, bro. I can't believe this is the best they can do. And I'll get to the other fights. I mean, the other fights are not that bad, but it's like, okay, that's really the best you can do. I mean, this is a regular pay-per-view. Harrison Nunes, I mean, it's a good fight. You know, I mean, am I gonna pretend like I'm so excited for it? No, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? It's a woman's fight. It's only so much I can get excited for. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. That's a good fight. That's a fight we were expecting. Nothing in this card surprises me besides the fact that the UFC is becoming more retarded by the day. That's it. That's the only thing that surprises me. Honestly, I'm not that invested. And the problem is that we have fighters like Chimaev who are not going to fight in the first quarter of 2026, right? Islam Makhachev just fought. He's not going to fight. And then who else do we have? Then Volkanovski hasn't fought. The problem with Chimaev is that bro just gave a horrible, boring ass. I mean, it was very dominant, but it was a very boring ass performance against Dricus du Plessis. I don't care if you're a hardcore MMA fan and wants to be this pretentious douchebag that, oh my goodness, Khamzat Chimaev dominating Dricus du Plessis was so entertaining and I'm gonna watch it every single day of my life. You know that fight was boring. You know it's boring as shit. And I think there should be a new rule in the UFC. If you put the kind of performance that Makhachev and Khamzat Chimaev did over their opponents in their last couple of title fights, which I understand, it's not their fault, they're very dominant, and if they have to go to the grappling, they have to go to the grappling. If you're putting those type of performances, then you have to come back quickly because you're taking no damage, you're laying and praying for 25 minutes, you didn't get a finish. So I feel like if you're not going through a war, I think the UFC needs to put more incentives on these fighters to make quicker turnarounds. That is why I don't believe UFC fighters should get paid more. Fighters barely fight. Fighters barely fight. You want them to get paid more? No, bro. These fighters do not need to get paid more. They need to get paid less. And there needs to be more rules. They need to come back quicker. I want to see Islam by March. I want to see Khamzat Chimaev in April. That's how they need to come back soon. Soon they need to come back. You know? That's why I'm based in MMA, because I'm going to say the things that other MMA YouTubers are not going to say. They're going to play coy. They're going to be, oh, this is a good fight. It's a good fight. Oh, it's a good fight. No, dude, these fights are terrible. These fights are terrible. I mean, Harrison Nunes is okay. O'Malley's Song is a good fight. You know, I'm not going, wow. We knew that was happening for like the longest time. Cortez versus Lewis, I mean, that's going to be a fun fight, but it's like, is that really like the splash you want to make for the Paramount card? Like, is that the splash? Is this the best you got? Alan Silva, I mean, that's a good fight as well, but this is not like a amazing card, man. And a lot of these cards are made by their headliners. So it's like Gaethje versus Pimblett, like, dude, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It does nothing for the division. We all know Armin Tsarukyan is a #1 contender. He had a very dominant performance. He's beat Charles Oliveira. He's on a really good win streak. He arguably hasn't lost since his first fight against Islam Makhachev. Why, man? All the fans want to see Armin Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria. And like I said, I understand if Topuria cannot fight at this point, but then make Pimblett versus Armin Tsarukyan. What are we doing? What are we doing? And then there's rumors of Volkanovski versus Lopez too. And I'm the biggest Diego Lopez fan, but that is a horrible fight. And it makes no sense for the featherweight division. I think I'm done with the UFC, guys. This sport has fallen off so bad. I get it. They've made all their money. But they don't care anymore. They know what does not care anymore. They just does not care. The matchmaking is absolutely horrendous. They're out of touch. It's like, what's the point of these title fights at this point? Is like, if Gaethje wins the interim title, do you really think he's the next best guy? Does anybody really believe that? Does anybody really believe that? Gaethje was lost to Charles Oliveira, he's lost to Dustin Poirier, he's lost to Max Holloway, he's lost to a bunch of guys. Gaethje has lost to a bunch of guys. And it should be a high standard to fight for the title. It should be a high standard because it's supposed to be the best fight the best. And like I said, it's not like we're getting these championship fights every other week. You know, in 2025, we only saw the lightweight title once. I mean, actually, that's a lie. We saw it twice. Right? One fight that, I mean, it was really nothing. I mean, Makhachev versus Moicano it was a nothing burger. Right? So it's like, Topuria took no damage. I don't understand why Topuria couldn't have made a quick turnaround for MSG. Like what is going on, man? What is the UFC doing? You know? What is happening? Oh, man. I mean, I guess let's talk about the matchup. I guess. I mean, I don't really care. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care. Pimblett's gonna win, guys. Pimblett's gonna be Gaethje. It's probably gonna be a fun fight. You know, is the winner of this gonna be legitimate? Not in my opinion. There's Armin Tsarukyan still out there. They're probably gonna fight Topuria sometime in the summer. It means nothing. Like, I see this card and I'm like, okay, there's not a lot at stake. And I wanted big matchups, man. And like I said, I get it. If Topuria has to deal with other issues, he can do that. But it's the job of the UFC to then make the next best fight. And I feel like sometimes when the UFC makes these fights, they don't think ahead. They don't think of, okay, Armin Tsarukyan is the #1 contender. So then let's make Armin versus Pimblett. And then that winner, whoever wins between Pimblett and Armin Tsarukyan, is going to be the #1 contender, the true #1 contender for Ilia Topuria, and is going to have a lot of hype. That's going to be a big fight in the summer whenever it happens. It's like, dude, if Gaethje wins, if Gaethje beats Pimblett, does anybody really think Gaethje has a chance against Topuria? Do we really think that? No, you don't. You don't think that. You don't. So they're fumbling it massively. That's just my reaction, man. I don't even want to talk. Honestly, I'm pissed off, man. I probably shouldn't have made a video. They're probably going to announce Lopez Volk 2, which is an absolute disgrace. It's a disgrace of a fight. And I'm the biggest Diego Lopez fan. But, dude, we have Lerone Murphy. We got Movsar Evloev. Other contenders that haven't fought for the title. You're going to give one to Lopez again? I get it. He just beat Gene Silva. But Murphy he's on a win streak. Like, what are we doing? We want to see fresh matchups. I'd rather see, Volkanovski versus Murphy, and then Lopez versus Movsar Evloev too. The winner of that fights Volkan Murphy. Dude, it's so easy. That's the problem. That's really what angers me about all this. It is so easy to make the right fights. Why are we fucking it up? And just when I thought things could not get any worse, because I just recorded the first half of this video, and then I go back online and I see that the UFC announced UFC 325, Volkanovski versus Lopez 2, and Umar versus Figueiredo. What are we doing? These fights suck! These fights are trash, guys. Please understand where I'm coming from. You feel the same way. I know all the fans are so disappointed right now. The real fans, not the pretentious ones that you see on X, on MMA YouTube that hype every single fucking fight. These fights are trash. Lopez versus Volk 2? We just saw that less than a year ago. And I'm the biggest Diego Lopez fan. What are we doing to Volkanovski? We're disrespecting him. Give him a fresh matchup with Lerone Murphy. What does Volkanovski gain from beating Diego Lopez the second time? Everybody's gonna be like, oh, he already beat him less than a year ago. So many excuses. So the UFC is practically setting up Volkanovski to get knocked out. That's what they want. Lerone Murphy's right there. And it's not like he just had a boring ass performance. He got a spinning elbow knockout over Aaron Pico. What are we doing? Fresh matchup. Movsar Evloev is on a crazy win streak. I understand Movsar Evloev hasn't fought in a long time now, but at least he's undefeated. At least it's a fresh matchup for Volkanovski. At least he kind of has that Russian aura. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm ready to be done with this UFC, bro. I love this sport so much. That's why it angers me so much that they're fumbling it. That they're fumbling it so hard. None of these fights make sense. Umar versus Figueiredo. Why are we taking a step back for Umar? Umar should be fighting O'Malley. Umar should be fighting Song Yadong. Umar should be getting a big fight. What does Umar gain from beating Figueiredo? We just saw Figgy get destroyed by Corey Sandhagen. I mean, I know he had a win over that dude in the Brazil card. I'm forgetting his name. I'm blanking on his name. Is it Jackson? Bro, what are we doing with the matchmaking? It's so bad. It's so bad. Like I said previously, I keep saying this over and over again. I'm going to drill this into your brain. We don't get these fighters that often. Fighters don't fight that often. That is why it is very important to matchmake correctly. It is very important because one bad fight, one fight that doesn't make sense, That's half the year gone for that fighter. That's half the year gone for that title fight. I will not be surprised if Arman Tsarukyan does not fight for the title in 2026. What are we doing? Why is it taking so long to get the fights that we want? What are they fucking doing, man? I'm pissed, man. I'm angry. It's whatever, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.